Well, let's go straight now to Misurata and speak to Sue Turton. Sue, what's been the reaction among opposition fighters to these arrest warrants and to their implementation, which, according to Ocampo, will now be in the hands, possibly, of the Transitional National Council?
Yes, well, the immediate reaction to the arrest warrants was of jubilation. Certainly here in Misurata, people were delighted to hear that the international community was now coming forward on their behalf, really, and saying these three individuals had to be taken out of Libya. But when things calmed down a bit after that initial excitement, people were then questioning whether this would mean the conflict could even go on longer. The worry is really that now any negotiation that they could possibly have with Colonel Gaddafi about him stepping down, about him taking some sort of backseat while negotiations were in place during a ceasefire, well, that's really come off the table. And even the head of the Transitional National Council yesterday, Mustafa Abdul said, well, no longer can there be any negotiations because now Colonel Gaddafi, his son and his brother-in-law are wanted men. But I think the real push here now is that now people realise that there is no place for him to go. He can't just quietly go to another country that may be sympathetic to him. Really, this has to come to an end soon. And I just heard Ocampo saying, well, first of all, the inner circle should be the ones that to try and pass him over for arrest. That is also what the opposition was saying here yesterday. But then possibly it's down to the Transitional National Council. There's nothing they'd like better than to be able to hand over Colonel Gaddafi, but the reality is that's not happening sometime soon.
And so Moreno-Ocampo said as well that he is still looking into allegations of rape, something you've also reported on quite extensively. How likely is the ICC to find that there was a policy of rape? Several international human rights organizations have said there was no evidence that rape was a policy, even though it may have been used on a large scale.
It's very difficult here really getting to the bottom of what really happened because, as we know, this is a very conservative society. Women very much do not want to come out and speak about it if they have been raped. We're hearing of a number of testimony from human rights lawyers and gynecologists all saying they have spoken to women. But clearly the chief prosecutor is also coming up against the same thing. He was making very clear there that he says he has evidence, but he doesn't want to put women who maybe have come forward through more turmoil, through more trauma, by getting them to give evidence. He said very clearly that he would carry on with his investigations. But everybody that's looked into this subject in Libya has found the same thing. There's an awful lot of people talking about other people going through this dreadful experience, but people actually sitting down and said it happened to me is a different matter. He said he will carry on investigating and there will be people here still asking questions. There is a chance, of course, if Tripoli falls, if Gaddafi does leave, more evidence may become available then when people get into Tripoli. But at the moment, we're all looking towards him to see if he finds more evidence that we haven't yet uncovered.
Sue Turton in Misurata, thank you very much, Sue.